What's in store for your business this week at Staples?
Doing business like a CEO while saving like a CFO.
Staples has all the supplies you need to run your business like a boss at prices that'll make your bookkeeper smile.
Now that is an achievement.
Everything from pens to brand spanking new calendars. And right now, 2019 DeskPad calendars are just $4.99.
So get your business ready for a big year at Staples, where there's a whole lot in store.
Valid on SKU 279-6207. Ends 1/12/19.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, Creative Souls, to Adult Bedtime Stories. I am your host, Kamani, and we have a short story that will be read tonight or this morning. So grab your favorite drink, snuggle in your comfy blanket, and enjoy the show. All right, and here we go. So let's jump in. Him. The leaves swayed left and right from just beyond his windowsill. He could see the night coming, as it always did, but he did not welcome it today. He wanted the day to stay, to envelope him, to be his most beautiful friend. But as dusk crept in, he knew he would soon become his father's dying wish. He knew that he would transform into the person he hated the most. His phone would ring, and he would pack a bag to meet someone at the pickup location. He knew he would disappear into the night with the family that he wished was his own. He knew that his identity would be altered as he became Dr. Alfred Reed of Southern Heights. But not tonight. Tonight, he would change his reality into the life he desired. He would be his true, authentic self. Tonight, he would morph into who he always dreamed to be. He is here. He heard her say to no one in particular as she opened her door and walked around to the passenger side door. Her hand never touched the handle as she waited for him to open it. She stood still and tall like a bamboo tree, swaying in the wind. She was beautiful, with dark brown hair that cascaded down her shoulders in whimsical curls. She would never wear a ponytail, no matter how many times he told her how beautiful her neck was. She never smiled, but kept gaze so powerful, so feminine, so alluring that he could never keep her glance. She was his still water in the rush of the downpour from a storm, but she was not his own. She held the heart of his deceased father, and he hated her for it. "Darling," she exclaimed as she opened her arms to hug him. He wore a dark suit, tailored to his slim but chiseled physique. His eyes were of midnight, dark and mysterious. But tonight, they shone of something slightly, the hair on her arm raised, as he reached past her to open the door. Their bodies brushed, and for a quick moment, she thought she felt heat rising from his body, as if a furnace had abruptly begun. She waited and glanced around. She felt the eeriness of the moment and could not pinpoint what was different, what was wrong. He smiled, a soft smile as he slightly kissed her on the cheek. Not the full kiss she'd grown accustomed to feel. Maybe he is sleepy, she thought, as he walked to the driver's side and slid into his seat. His smell was of musk, but not of cologne she knew. He smelled of an animal that was preparing to pounce on his prey. When he looked at her, He grinned a large smile with bright white teeth, and it all began to make sense. The dreams, the phone calls, the letters on her nightstand in the middle of the night. Her head began to spin as his smile etched a feeling in her heart. Her heart began to race as she tried to open the door. She tried to pull the handle. She tried to open the lock, but the door was jammed shut. The smile in his eyes intensified as she began to become lightheaded. She felt her breathing slow as she tried to pull the steering wheel from his hand. He continued to smile, and she knew it was over. She knew this day would come. His day of awakening had arrived, and she could not stop it. She breathed softly and fell back into her seat. She felt the wind in her hair as she closed her eyes. Then darkness came abruptly as she felt the car lunge forward quickly. The sound was so loud that she could not hear her own screams, and she screamed in her ear, in her own head. Before she passed out, she opened her eyes to the clear, dark sky, the lights that were quickly fading, and rush of her blood through her veins. Her lips pursed her last solemn words to the air around her. Michael, why did we choose him? And thank you for tuning in to the Adult Listening Party, where we experience engaging short story samples, spicy poems, and inspiration. Your imagination depends on it. I do hope that you liked or loved your sample this evening. And the name was Him. So the name of the short story was called Him, and that is one of my short stories. And I am your host tonight. My name is Kamani. And remember, we are PG-13 adult family, so set the temperature to cold, warm, or hot. Definitely throw in some spice, but please keep it tasteful. And send in your poems or short story excerpts to be broadcast on the show weekly. And you can send that information to adultcreativesoul@gmail.com. Again, that is adultcreativesoul@gmail.com. That is ADULTCreativesoul@gmail.com. And I do appreciate you listening this evening. This is the first of many stories to come, first of many bedtime stories to come. So again, if you are a budding artist, if you have, short stories, poems that you would like to be broadcast on the show, I welcome you to send your excerpt so that we can broadcast your information, broadcast your short story. Definitely get the listeners here to take a look at your information, to take a look at your original work. So we are definitely here to inspire everyone, as well as every artist the opportunity to be seen and be heard. Again, that is adultcreativesoul@gmail.com. So, again, we have read a short story, and that short story was called Him, and that is from myself. I am the artist. My name is Kamani. I will have a website for all of my, definitely my artists, so that you can take a look at my work. Also, if you are on Blog Talk Radio on Sundays at 11:30, definitely log into my other channel. I do have a channel called Love Your Health, where we do talk about ways to increase your knowledge, to definitely get the information about your mind, body, and soul, ways to definitely become better in those areas. So if you are up at 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, tune in to Love Your Health. All right. So for all of my listeners, I do appreciate you listening tonight. Again, this is the first of many to come. And thank you for listening to Creative Soul, well, Adult Bedtime Stories for Creative Souls. Good night, adults.